Welcome back to the College Town Podcast, everybody. I'm Derek DeBurger. With me is Sam Roth.
How we doing, guys?
Today we recap the last week of college basketball. We talk about who we think our midseason Final Four teams are.
Oh, yeah, we did do that.
Yep, we sure did. We talk a lot about the news, which there surprisingly was a ton of news this week. We had to kind of quickly get through that.
Yeah. One waiver for a eligibility in football got accepted. One got denied. I think it was the right decision.
Yeah, it's BS. No.
He disagrees
we have a big
with
argument
them.
about that because it's ridiculous. Talk about lots of lawsuits flying around college sports.
Yeah.
Bill O'Brien. Rodney Terry getting mad at the this thing.
Yeah, and then
Caitlin Clark getting trucked.
TCU's women's basketball trying to field a team.
Yeah. They can't play the sport.
Holding
right
open
now.
tryouts.
They're just trying to play the sport.
Yeah,
right?
they are.
We are horned frogs.
I don't know. I think they're scared. They two ranked teams. They eliminated off their.
Who is it? Iowa State and Kansas State?
I think
that's
it sounds right.
Anyway.
Yeah.
We'll see in the episode. We do our pick'ems as always.
And as obviously, Tara Vanderveer made history this week.
That's true. We talked about that as well. All right. We'll see you in the episode.
Bye, guys.
Hello, everybody. I don't know where you are, but where we are here in Louisville, Kentucky, it is a beautiful, beautiful spring day. It is 34?
Just above freezing.
Yeah, just above freezing. It feels great outside. The snow is starting to melt a little bit. It's great. It's beautiful outside.
It's fantastic.
And
but we didn't come here to talk about the weather.
No.
Did we?
What's really beautiful is that conference play is in full swing.
Yeah.
And it's fun. It's fun. You're starting to see some teams
pull away from the pack.
And also some teams that you thought were going to be better. I mean, this happens every year. Teams that you thought were going to be better start to drop some games.
Yeah. I've got some takes on that.
Yeah.
One of the teams that has been that dropped a game that you would not expect to drop is Gonzaga. Gonzaga might possibly lose the WCC this year. St. Mary's is looking very good.
In conference, yeah.
In conference, undefeated.
They look terrible.
I know, but they're undefeated right now.
Yeah.
It's interesting because that's a team it's like you think Gonzaga just runs the WCC. That's what you would think every year, but
yeah, most years they do win it.
They could still win it.
When I say most years, it's like most years.
Yeah, if not every year.
Yeah. But
it's interesting. Memphis lost two very close ones as well.
They lost. Well,
I watched the Tulane game.
Tulane is a better team than I think people realize. They have a good record. That game was at Tulane.
Sure was.
So, they had home court advantage there. Memphis kind of they had a really bad week. There's no way to put it. They were up 20 at halftime against Southern Florida and lost.
You lost by one.
Yeah, and so that's a bad loss. You can't really.
It's rough when you get the court stormed by you twice in 1 week.
Yeah.
That's a rough week.
Yeah. I still have faith in Memphis. You know, I've said it, and I'll keep saying it. I think Penny Hardaway's gotten better as a coach. I like the roster. He's followed the trend of college basketball and getting older, not younger.
Mm-hmm.
Which for him it was like nearly impossible to get younger. He was already getting like 3 5-stars a year.
Right.
It's like, well, okay. It's hard to get younger unless you get like 4 or 5 stars.
I mean,
Kentucky went out and got like 6 this year, so.
And they look good.
Yeah, they're really, really good.
Man. I mean, like, the Mountain West this year, I think, is going to have like 4 or 5 teams in it. Like,
You're moving it up. I said 5, and you're like, 4.
Honestly, though, it's like, I do think like one team's not going to make it out of like the 6 potential.
I think it's probably Boise.
It's like Boise or like Nevada or like
I could see.
So it's like Colorado State, San Diego State, Boise State, Utah State,
New
Mexico, and like Nevada, I think, or like maybe UNLV. It's one of those.
No. UNLV is like 10-8.
Okay, so they're bad. Okay,
yeah,
but it's like, I don't think it's a hot take right now to say that the Mountain West will have more teams in the tournament
in the ACC
and Pac-12.
Yeah, no, I don't think so either. I don't think that's a hot take.
I don't think it is either because it is fun to watch Mountain West Conference basketball right now, and everyone's just beating up on everyone.
I found myself watching San Jose State games.
Really?
Yeah. I've been up late a few times, but like I've watched some of their games, and it's like they don't have a good record, but they're still entertaining to watch.
I've done the exact same thing. It's just with Big West action. I've been following UC Irvine.
UC Irvine.
Dude, they are pretty good. They just lost to UC San Diego, and that's a tough. And I realize every single school, basically in the Big West, is in California.
A UC school.
Yeah, basically. But I mean, like tight close games are barely being won. Like 64-62 was the most recent one.
Yeah.
Like that, and like
Just competitive basketball is fun.
oh, it absolutely is.
Um, you know, it's nice. I will say it's nice to see the Mountain West doing well, from the sense that they're a decent basketball program. You know, conference. That
Right,
I mean,
yeah.
not program. They're a decent basketball conference, and they have been for a little bit. You know, they've got some schools that have decent histories, like
San Diego
San
State.
Diego State, Utah State.
UNLV way back.
Yeah, way back, but like
Way
not recently.
Right.
But no, you're right. They still have that history, and you know, the Mountain West has done a pretty good job, especially recently, of like getting multiple teams in the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Last year they got 4 teams, but they were on such a long drought, like a long drought of a team from the Mountain West actually winning a game in the tournament, and then San Diego State made the national championship last year. They were the runner-up.
Right.
And then they come back again this year, and it looks like they're an even better conference.
Mm-hmm.
So it's fun to watch, honestly. It is. It's heartening a little bit. So
It is, and
great.
it's not as great as like when you got like, I'll just say it, like the Big Ten's good, but it's like it's Wisconsin or Purdue's to lose basically. At this point, the ACC.
I think it's Purdue's to lose. Honestly.
well, it is Purdue's to lose, but based off of like records right now, Wisconsin's level with them, I believe, or like.
Yeah, but Purdue is.
Oh, I'm not.
Purdue's got a lot of really good wins.
Oh, absolutely. And then you also got like the ACC. It's Duke or North Carolina's. Right now, it's looking like North
Oh
Carolina's.
my God, it's looking. I want to talk about North Carolina.
I
think
they arguably have like the best guard in the league right now in RJ Davis. I don't think that's very hot to say. He looks
no, he's
tremendous.
playing fantastic. But also, what's really standing out to me about North Carolina right now,
Mm-hmm.
they are a team that for so long, under Roy Williams, under Dean Smith, they just want to outscore you.
Mhm.
They don't care that much about defense. They just want to outscore you. All of a sudden, they're ranked top 5 on KenPom in defense,
Hubert
which
Davis.
is
Yeah, going
insane. I'm starting to really buy into Hubert Davis, which I never was out fully on him. I just was very much like, I want to see more.
I mean, to be
I'm
fair,
starting to see more, I think.
to be fair, it was like national championship team, and then the very next year doesn't even make the tournament, and now
After starting off ranked number 1 preseason.
right, and then now they're back again, and it's like, all right, what happened last year? You know,
Yeah.
or it's like, I don't know, honestly. I mean, they're playing great ball right now.
So the argument against Hubert Davis was, you're Carolina. You've already got a ton of talent. The difference was that that runner-up team, they kind of they struggled early on, and then just like found their footing and clicked. They came into the tournament in 8th seed, and that was like criminally underrated. I mean, even then, a lot of people, myself included, a lot of people were like, I know the record doesn't say that they're better than an 8th seed, but like
They're
this
better than
past
AC.
month and a half, 2 months, they are better than an 8th seed, and they proved it. They were underseeded, so they got the advantages of beating a 1 seed, and then getting a 1 seed's path to the Final Four. And then, the next year they're bad after returning the majority of the players. But the thing is, the difference was that they didn't have Brady Manick. That a lot of people thought, this is the argument against Hubert Davis, which I'm believing less and less with the more I see this year of North Carolina's team, because I really like them this year. The argument was that Brady Manick was kind of like an on-court coach, and then when you lost him, yeah, you still had all that talent, but you lost that like voice on the court, which still can be true, but I don't think it should take away from what Hubert Davis has done and what he's doing currently, because that North Carolina team is very good.
Yeah, they are.
I'm very impressed with them.
I think they're gonna win the ACC this year.
Yeah.
It's them or Duke. But
When you say I was thinking about this. When you say win the ACC, are you talking about regular season?
regular season, just
'Cause
strictly regular season.
I always think about tournament
well, yeah,
because
well,
it's more fun.
it's 1,000% more fun, but also it's like,
It's not indicative of who's the best team.
well, no, but it's also like it's the conference championships of like the tournament is basically just who's hot at that moment. And sometimes it's nice to get hot in February and March
Yeah.
and figure it out and go on those runs. But then also it's like, I don't know, I'm saying just regular season basically because like
Yeah.
I feel like over the course of the season you can kind of just gauge who the best team is. Like right now it's like I honestly think there's a couple of divisions up for grabs right now. And it's the SEC, the Mountain West, the Big 12. And I mean, like outside of that, you kind of have like your top dogs. Arizona's the top dog in the Pac-12. Purdue's the top dog in the Big 10. North Carolina's the top dog in the ACC right now. There is some questions about like those other three, we'll call them mid-majors. Like Big East, it's UConn's to lose at this point, the way everyone's kind of been falling. I mean, I'm like SEC, I don't know. Is it Auburn? Is it Tennessee? Is it Kentucky? Big 12, is it Houston? Is it Kansas? Do you want to sprinkle in Baylor in there?
Baylor, if they can, figure out. Baylor is the number 1 3-point shooting team in the country. They've shot terrible in conference. They're just like, and they're in a slump right now, and that has seriously affected their play. They lost twice this past week.
I mean, same
if
thing
they
happened
can-
with Houston, though. Houston lost to Iowa State and TCU away.
Yeah, but Baylor, it's all dependent on can they find their shot again because they're looking rough without it.
Yeah.
But hey, big win though against Baylor, Kansas State.
Oh, yeah.
You know me.
I know you.
You know me.
Yeah.
I'm firmly on the Tang train.
Yeah, Jerome Tang.
That this past week, plus their performance against Texas Tech, just really solidifies me.
Are you just like a closeted Kansas State fan the way you talk about their coaches?
No, I think they've got a great athletic director. Whoever it is, that guy can find them.
Man.
And they've got a good women's team too. Like Kansas State, who's their AD, man? That guy needs to go.
man
Ohio
was
State
something.
needs to go for him, whoever it is.
Oh.
Ohio State's looking for this. This is just a quick little one-off story. Ohio State is looking for a new athletic director. I think their athletic director retired, and they're currently trying to get Texas A&M's athletic director. Trying to poach him. So,
The guy who
but
made.
they need to go after.
Wait,
Kansas
they
State's
want to go
ace,
after the
man.
guy that made the Jimbo Fisher hire?
He also made. His name's Ross Bjork. I think he also was the athletic director at Washington when they poached Chris Peterson from Boise
Oh,
State.
gotcha.
He's really, really good at just stealing guys.
Well, Ohio State's really good at just stealing Caleb Downs from Alabama, just dabbling in.
They also got Quinshon Judkins.
Yeah, they did.
Huge transfer portal gets. And Will Howard.
Yeah, I'm not sold on him completely, to be honest.
I think he's got the tools.
Do you think he has the ability to win a national championship? I mean, we're going.
With Ohio State's roster, yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, like, Ohio State has basically this year put all their eggs into this basket, and then they're like, all right, Will Howard, lead us.
Yeah. And I think it's a solid idea.
I mean, I don't know.
I'm
Will
all
Howard
in
doesn't
on that.
scream elite quarterback to me.
He's got the arm. He's an older guy.
I mean,
I like him.
There's a reason why he left Kansas State, though, is because he wasn't going to have the starting job.
What are you talking about?
He wasn't going to have the starting job at Kansas State.
Yes, he was.
No, he wasn't.
Why do you say that?
No, what's his name is basically going to be the starter for Kansas State. And that's why they had like 4 quarterbacks basically transfer out. You don't lose a whole quarterback room if you don't have the guy already, basically.
I think he was going to be the starter if he stayed.
No.
All right.
I think his name's like Avery Johnson.
Avery Johnson. Yeah, that guy was the backup behind him.
No, I think it's his team now, basically.
Yeah, because
No,
Will Howard left.
I don't even think it's because Will Howard left. I think it's his team basically.
That guy was the backup behind Will Howard.
Yeah.
That's a ridiculous assertion.
I don't think it is though because he was a true freshman. I don't think it's absolutely ridiculous at all.
You think a redshirt freshman is going to take the job from a COVID senior?
Yes, if they have the talent. Yes.
I don't think so.
Caleb Downs came in as a true freshman and won SEC Player of the Year at Alabama. at Alabama. If you're good enough, you're gonna be on the field.
I like Will Howard more than you, I guess.
Yeah,
All right.
apparently.
Well, let's get back to basketball.
You with your old school mentality of the senior should start over a freshman.
I didn't say that. He's good.
Oh,
Relax.
no.
Relax, man.
Oh, man.
Okay. What do we got? You want to talk about more basketball? Or you want to get
Yeah,
into
a little bit of
news?
basketball. I want to talk about FAU versus UTSA. FAU kind of sucks in the first half for whatever reason this year. They stumble out of the gates and have to fight back in every game that they've been playing, basically. And I have no idea why it is, but they were down like 15 or so and then climb back to bring it to overtime. And then it turned out being one of the highest scoring games in college basketball since like the early 2000s.
Yeah, 2003.
Basically, yeah. It was the score to the game was 112 to 103, which sounds like
just
an NBA
one
game.
overtime. That's crazy.
Right. I mean, you also got Seton Hall versus Creighton that went into 3 overtimes, and it didn't even come close to that score.
Yeah. Well, Seton Hall does not play. They
But
do not play the same style.
yeah, any other games that you want to talk about? That was the only one off the top of my head.
I want to talk about FAU a little bit just because I think the reason they might stumble out of the gate a little bit is because they made the Final Four last year. You know, they've got a talented roster. They're talented. They're athletic. Dusty May looks like he's a good coach.
Mm-hmm.
But like, if you're at a program like FAU who doesn't really have a history, you go to the Final Four all of a sudden out of nowhere, and then you're like, okay, we're gonna run this conference, and then we're just gonna kind of wait until we get to the tournament, and then we're gonna turn it on. If you have that mentality in every game, everyone's gonna get up to play you because you made the Final Four last year.
I see what you're saying.
And so
You're going to get everyone's best.
yeah, and so if you're not ready for that, you could stumble out of the gate. And I think typically those type of teams do poorly postseason because
You can't
popped my
stumble.
knuckle. I hope that didn't come across.
Well, you can't stumble in the tournament, basically.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. You have to have that. You have to have the reps of having started a game strong and finished a game strong. You don't have to do it every single game.
No, but it's far and few between where we've seen games. I mean, it has happened where teams were down 20 in the first round and have been able to fight back and win games.
Yeah.
It's just, if you let a team go on a run early, it's harder. It's just so much harder to win the game.
Especially if they are the underdog. Because the way the tournament works, the longer you let the underdog, the lower seeded team hang in a game, the more the crowd is like, yeah, I want them to win. That's more fun.
Oh, yeah.
It becomes a road game. If you don't just put your foot down on their throat immediately, it becomes a road game.
Yeah.
Because not everyone's there to see you. Not everyone's there to see the other team.
There's 4 teams usually at a venue.
Yeah, give or take.
More or less. Yeah.
Yeah.
On a day. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. I'm not overly optimistic about FAU's prospects in the postseason.
It's so weird because it's like, oh, Memphis is the team in the American, and then they lose 2 straight, and it's like, is it FAU that's back again? Could SMU spoil either
SMU
one?
or Tulane, yeah.
I don't think Tulane.
I don't think so either, but they have a good record.
I mean, it's like SMU, but then also it's like you look at that conference, and it's like, I think personally Memphis was ranked too high. I don't think, according to every metric that I've been looking at, they're not really a tournament team on metrics. But also it's like, I don't know. It's like, I don't know where to put Memphis because I'm like, if you win games, you win games.
Yeah.
You can't just be good offensively like Alabama and keep losing games by 20 to Tennessee,
Yeah.
And expect to go anywhere. So, I mean, like, it's weird. Alabama's such a weird team. They're ranked like 8th. They're both ranked the same on net and on KenPom, and they're like a 500 team. And they're both ranked in the top 10.
They're like 12-6 right now.
Right, and it's like...
It's not a great record.
No, it is not. You win 213.
Especially if you don't have, like... They've played a tough schedule, but they've lost all the tough teams.
Basically, they have not won like a quality game, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
Means
strange.
There's also the same thing could be said about Auburn. Auburn looks great metrically, but they haven't really been tested yet.
No.
They're about to be, though, which will be fun in the next couple of weeks.
With Alabama, but then again, is that a test? if they haven't proven it in
They'll
any
have,
of their
they'll,
tests.
they'll have Tennessee, Mississippi State. And
Oh, that's true.
They'll have Tennessee, Mississippi State, Kentucky coming up. I'm just talking like the SEC
Yeah.
schedule coming forward.
Yeah.
Not like in the next coming week, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird. You know, you gotta. That's what college basketball is sometimes. Sometimes there's people that just kind of get a lucky break
All right.
throughout the regular season.
Obviously,
You don't know how good they are until tournament.
we didn't talk about this, but I'm just gonna ask you this.
Yeah.
All right. Right now, I saw this on the internet. They were doing it for pundits. Bracket hasn't come out yet. We don't know anything yet. Who are your top 4 teams making it? Who's your final 4 right now?
My final 4.
Your final 4.
Oh man, God, that's tough.
It's very tough. Mid-season final 4. Who would you say are the top 4 teams right now in college basketball?
All right, top 4 is different from mid-season final 4.
Okay, mid-season final 4. I
Okay.
apologize. Mid-season final 4.
Um,
Or who will be in the final 4 in March? That's the question. Who will be in the final 4 in March?
okay,
Who's
yeah.
If you were to go to the sports bookie and go, this team's making the final 4.
Oh man, it's the deep into the pool is kind of, you know, it's pretty deep this year. You know, it's like there hasn't been any teams that have separated themselves.
Yeah.
As like, that's the team. Let's see if anyone can knock them off. Kind of like Alabama last year.
I mean, yeah.
And so it's tough. Like, obviously your instinct is like, oh, the best teams, you know, but then like, you know, just like crazy stuff happens in the tournament. I guess I would say UConn.
Yeah.
I'm going to say North Carolina right now.
I got you.
I don't know. Marquette? Maybe Marquette makes a
Ooh,
run.
Marquette. That's a fun
Yeah,
one.
I like their style of play. They've got good guard play, which is what you need in the tournament to make deep runs. And then, I don't know, give me Tennessee.
We have 2 of the same.
What, UConn and Tennessee?
No,
Oh.
North Carolina and Tennessee.
Okay.
I like North Carolina and Tennessee. I kind of forgot about UConn, but I'm going like Purdue and Houston. And then like my solo outlier, but I don't think they've really been tested because their conference sucks, is Arizona.
Arizona, yeah.
Arizona's good, but it's like,
I think
are they ever going to get up to play?
To me, it looks like Arizona's destined for another upset in an early round. It's what it looks like to me.
I mean, they're playing good ball.
They're playing decent ball.
They were down against UCLA at
by
one
like
point
20 points something. Like
Saturday, but they were fought back and were able to find a win against
yeah, but UCLA doesn't have the talent this year.
Nah, they don't. But it is a Mick Cronin coach team.
Which means they don't put a lot of points up on the board.
All right.
I don't know. I'm slowly kind of like,
Yeah, the
Pac-12. I'm more and more cooling on Arizona.
The national championship will say east of the Mississippi again.
Yep, that's what I think. But
Mm-hmm.
moving on to the news, there's some football news, which we'll hit on real quick. Miami has a tight end who just got two waiver news.
Yes,
bits of
two waiver
right
news.
here.
One got accepted, one got denied.
Yeah. Miami has a tight end, Cam McCormick, who just got a waiver to play a 9th year of college football.
Yeah, that's right.
Jesus Christ.
But if you read it, he's only played. So to give you an idea, he was recruited in 2016 to Oregon. He was in the same recruiting class as Justin Herbert. To give you an idea, he only played 1 year from 2016 to 2020 due to injuries and a freshman redshirt.
Yeah.
He played all of the 2017 season. He's gotten his undergraduate and graduate degree from Oregon before transferring to Miami.
Yeah, now his man's going for a doctorate.
Yeah, it's crazy. He basically had like 2 season-ending injuries, plus the COVID year, plus the redshirt year. So it's like, technically, he's only played 4 seasons of college football. So
Yeah.
he technically,
Plus, he gets what, the COVID year?
yeah, the COVID year as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I mean,
he technically has another year of eligibility. He just, to give you an idea, this upcoming recruiting class, we're in elementary school when he started college.
yeah, that's pretty wild.
They were 9 years old when he was 18.
Yeah. So what, 9? How old is he now?
Oh my gosh.
27.
He'll be 27.
That's wild.
He'll be 27.
That's wild.
I
I mean, get another degree, man.
I
Like,
mean, the
go
NCAA
off.
just said approve. Yeah, because it all checks out. Honestly, if you think about it.
Yeah, no, it does. I saw a lot of people get really, really mad at this. They're like, "This is ridiculous."
I mean, it kind of is ridiculous.
like college needs to go back to the 4-year kids. None of this, ninth year COVID senior. And it's like, relax, man. Like the COVID year, that's gonna that's gonna expire eventually.
you know what's funny though is that like, I know this is going to be a take that you do not agree with, but I feel like one got accepted, one got denied. I think the NCAA got both of them right.
No, I don't agree with that in the slightest.
I know you don't. I know you don't. But I think they got both of them right.
Yeah, well, let's go to the denial real quick.
Okay, the denial one.
Taulia Tagovailoa, he got denied his waiver
Yeah,
to play sixth year of college football.
yeah. I don't agree with it. I
Yeah.
don't think you should play 6 years. This kid,
This man's playing 9.
no, he's not. He's playing 5. He's played 5 years over the course of 9 years, but he's played 5 years. He's about to enter his 5th year.
Okay, well here's
He's
the
only
thing.
been on the field for 4 years.
Here's the thing. Talia, he's trying to the way he tried to get his waiver is he like came in a game at the very end of the game, handed off, took a knee.
Right.
Is that really playing in a game? Is that playing in a game?
I'm aware of what you're saying.
You could get a long snapper to come out there and take the snap under center and hand it off.
I'm fully aware of what you're saying.
Nick Saban could have done that.
I'm fully aware. At the same time, though, he's played for 4 years already at Maryland, where he's been the starter and has fully played. He's run his course for his college career.
You got the COVID year. Like they decided to do that. They have to honor that.
And they did with that snap.
No, it's BS, man. And so that was his 4th game of the year. That should have been its red shirt. And then Nick Saban did what Nick Saban did, and he just burned a red shirt because he's like, no, you're not going to transfer mid-year.
So yeah, to just give you an idea, when he was a true freshman,
True freshman.
Yeah, when he was a true freshman, Saban used him for 4 games basically to burn the red shirt.
No, 5 games. You can play 4 games.
And then
After 4 games, you burn the red shirt.
I gotcha.
And so he put him in. The 4th game was the game where he just handed it off and took a knee. Saban put him in for a 5th game to intentionally burn the red shirt. Saban did that all the time.
But he also wrote a letter to the NCAA trying
Boo
to get
freaking who? He's the reason that he can't play another year.
But also, it's like, does he just know that he's not the quality of quarterback that the NFL's looking for?
Yeah, I think that's why he put his name in the transfer portal and tried to get a waivers, because I think he didn't get good feedback from scouts.
Because it's like,
He's not going to do that well in the NFL. He's worse than Tua. Tua, if we're talking NFL, already needs help. He's not a guy that can win on his own, and he's worse than Tua. So
I mean, career backup, nothing wrong with that.
no, absolutely. Give me $1 million to,
help see
to
the
scout.
quarterback. Yeah, basically see some other things and watch film. But I mean, like, I don't know. I feel like the NCAA got this one right. If you've played quote unquote 5 years, I mean, you can't. The NCAA is following the rules, and it's like 5 games. It's like you can't be like, I only played a couple of downs. You know what I mean?
Sure, you can. If the couple of downs that you played are downs that literally anyone could have done, they could have gone out and got the ball boy. They could have had a little raffle. They could have pulled someone from the stands and like, do you want to take a knee for Alabama Crimson Tide?
Yeah, but at the same time, though, it's like he's played 5 years according to the letter of the law.
Cool.
I mean, it's not.
Letter of the law used to be you can't drink alcohol. No one followed that, and then they got rid of that.
Yeah, they sure did. But it's also like if you have.
There's a lot of letter of the law that the NCAA did that all of a sudden the Supreme Court's like, hey, that's against the law.
It sure is. Yeah, absolutely. Now
You're
this
gonna
means,
you're gonna defend the NCAA's letter of the law?
no, I'm going to defend the fact that they denied Tua because it's like he's like set the passing record for the Big Ten. Like, what more do you have to prove to an NFL scout? Like, why are you still holding on to this idea? Like, hey, We all gave up sports at one point. We all played it at a certain point. We all got to hang it up at a certain point. Now's his time, apparently. And I think he just doesn't want to accept that.
Nah. If you can monetize this for a little bit longer, do it.
Yeah, but
Do it.
no.
I'm
We shouldn't be going for PhDs here.
I think PhDs take a lot longer than you think.
No, I'm just saying, like, I mean, like, the McCormick kid, it's like, I guess
He's got a graduate degree. That's
1,000%. I mean, like,
rock out, my man. He is set for the workforce.
Is he though?
He's got a graduate degree. Yes,
Yeah.
that's very desirable.
All right.
Depends on what's it in. I'm curious actually.
Right.
What he got is it was
Is
graduate
it both
degree.
at Oregon?
Yeah. I think that Charlie Baker sucks. I think that he should play.
But it's also like, I mean, 9 years in college on an athletic scholarship is kind of crazy.
Okay. He got a bachelor's in journalism and then a master's in advertising.
Okay.
Those are some good degrees.
All right. There you go.
All right. Let's move on.
All right.
Ridiculous.
All right. Well, I mean, they're getting sued at least. The NCAA, that is. If that's where you want to go.
Yeah, let's talk about some lawsuits. Sure.
I honestly don't understand any of this, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, I'll walk you through it.
Appreciate it.
So earlier we talked about I guess it was last calendar year technically, when the NCAA had a restraining order put on them by a judge in West Virginia. That's because 7 states were joined in a lawsuit against the NCAA challenging the transfer rule.
What transfer rule is that?
The one-time transfer rule.
Oh,
That
okay,
You can
gotcha.
you can transfer once, no problem, but if you transfer any time after that,
You lose a year of
before
eligibility.
you're a graduate student, then yes, you have to sit out a year.
Right.
You don't necessarily lose a year of eligibility, but you do have to sit out a year. And they're suing the NCAA because it's like, well, why can any student just transfer and start taking classes? No problem. And B, why can coaches leave whenever they want? Like, this is ridiculous. And so they sued. They got the 2-week restraining order to let college students just do whatever they wanted transfer-wise for that 2 weeks. And then they were going to reconvene. I think they've upheld it for the time being, but I'm not sure if they've come to a final ruling on that yet.
Okay.
I don't think they have, because since then 4 other states have joined, and the DOJ. So that being the Department of Justice. So
The
literally,
United States government.
yeah, literally the United States government is like, nah, you can't do this. That's ridiculous. So
Okay.
it's USA versus NCAA. A lot of letters.
Yeah.
A lot of letters there.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see how that plays out. And then also there's another lawsuit regarding the ACC in Florida State.
This is kind of funny.
Yeah, the ACC is suing Florida State.
So I actually learned a little bit about this. I could help.
Yeah. I know like the final detail, but
Right. So like apparently like the ACC never wanted Florida State to retain a copy of this, whatever it was. What it was.
the grant rights.
Right, because apparently, like, Florida is a big freedom of information state. Like, once it is obtained by someone, that's why you hear all, like, the Florida Man stories, is because it's available to the press and to the public, basically, on, like, whenever any of these events happen. Like,
Well, technically it is in any state, but I
Well,
guess
then
Florida's probably easy. The laws in Florida probably
it's easier to obtain.
allow an ease of access.
Yes, exactly. It's a very much a. I'm not exactly sure how to describe it, but Florida has very loose laws on like what information can be attained to the public, basically.
Yeah.
And so basically, once a public university like Florida State has information to this, it is widely available to be released to the public. So basically, the ACC is accusing Florida State of retaining a fully executed copy of the grant of rights and leaking it to a blogger on All Knows back in 2016. The funny part about this is that the former AD of Florida State, Wilcox, I believe is his name, now works for the NCAA. Back when this leak happened.
Yeah, so there's
So
definitely
he's
he's
basically just like
he's like, hey guys,
I know
stole that.
I stole it, and now we're gonna sue.
You want to see the hard drive it's on too?
It's just so like
Yeah, and so it's I mean that's kind of the smoking gun right there.
It's so funny.
But also, so the ACC is what they're trying to get. The damages that they're trying to seek is that they don't want Florida State to have voting rights for the ACC going forward, because clearly
They want out.
the ACC. Yeah, well, I mean, the Florida State doesn't have the ACC's best interest in mind. That's why they didn't want SMU, Stanford, Cal. They didn't want them to get in, even though it brought more money to the conference, and so they voted against it every single time. And so they're just like, okay, no. Because also bringing in 3 schools increases the operating budget of the ACC, which is paramount. It does, but they didn't accept as much. Like SMU didn't accept anything.
Sorry, you were saying about Paramount. Yeah. They brought in more streaming?
No, so what that does is it increases the operating budget for the ACC. The buyout for the grant of rights is contingent on what the operating budget is, an annual operating budget. It's, I think, 3 or 4 times. So that number fluctuates and just grows and grows and grows. So it just gets more and more expensive to get out of the ACC. It's currently sitting at around like $130 million just for the buyout. So, yeah, that's fun. It's fun. Well, this is going to take years. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll just see where it goes.
Yeah.
It's going to be the way the NCAA moves and
the way the justice system moves.
It's going to take years of appeals and then whatever. And then it'll be 50 years before documents are released, and then we'll be 75 being like, I told you so.
Yeah, so we'll see in years.
Yeah, on that information.
Yeah. Real quickie news. Bill O'Brien got hired as Ohio State's offensive coordinator. I think it's a good hire, personally.
Yeah, I think he's a good offensive-minded coach.
Yeah, Ryan Day's probably calling the shots anyway, at least on the play-calling side.
We'll see.
So
it'll be interesting.
But, yeah. And then moving back to basketball.
This is funny.
Yeah. Texas head coach Rodney Terry got real mad at Central Florida players. Yeah. Central Florida upset Texas, and so during the handshake line, they did the horns down because, they were all excited, and then Rodney Terry just blew up on them.
It's so dumb, too. The whole horns down thing is just... I don't understand why Texas fans get so upset by it.
It's the same thing as L's down for Louisville.
I mean, like...
It's like a thing that other fans do. When
I mean, you don't like it, obviously.
No, obviously.
But
dislike.
it's like, grow up. I'm also glad that the only reason why I'm glad Texas is going to the SEC is that now in the Big 12, it used to be a 15-yard unsportsmanlike penalty to do
not a
horns
penalty
down.
anymore.
In the SEC, they've already came out and said that will not be a penalty.
Yeah.
It's just called gamesmanship at the end of the day is what it's called.
And so he kind of blew up in his post-game press conference. And it also blew up on him in the handshake line. Kind of like chastise him, and then they were all like, yeah, and he was like, don't do that, it's classless, and they all just kind of shook hands after that. And then as they were walking back through the tunnels, they were like,
But what's so dumb, it's like I don't think he realizes that when it comes to people of the Gen Z or even like the internet, if you tell someone not to do something,
that's all they're gonna do.
Absolutely. Hey, you kids, knock it off. That's not nice.
Yep.
Well, whatever. And then Kelvin Sampson, who is the head coach for Houston, who was a former OU coach, he gave a comment, and it's like, Texas has OU sucks in their fight song. Like, you can dish it, but you can't take it. It's one of those references where it's just like, what's going on here?
I mean, that's what happens when a conference babies you for 25 years.
I know, it's kind of nice when you bring in a lot of money because of football.
Yeah, it's kind of like Alabama, where it's like all these people are transferring out of Alabama, and they're like, "This is a problem."
Dude, there's some.
And it's like, welcome to everybody else.
Dude, there's some satire where it was like, because like people are transferring from Alabama because of Kellen DeBoer and change happening at Alabama
Yeah.
football program. There was satire online where someone posted, it was like, it was just announced that Kellen DeBoer will retain Nick Saban's referees.
That would be big. That would be big for Alabama. if they do that.
It's just funny.
Yeah. Then we got this is a fun story. TCU women, their basketball team had to forfeit 2 games.
This week,
Yeah, because they didn't have enough available players, and it wasn't like. So per the rules, those games don't count against your record if you have to forfeit it. If it's for extraneous circumstances, like weather doesn't let your plane get off the tarmac.
right?
You're
You're not able
COVID,
to,
like
you're not able to get
team's
there.
wiped
Illness,
out with
yeah.
COVID. Yeah.
But not being able to field a team is a forfeit.
Yeah, they just didn't have players.
So apparently, it's not like you have to have just 5 and you can play. You have to have
No,
more than that.
Yeah,
You have to have 7 or 8 available
I
players.
don't know the number.
It's
I didn't look at that, but
somewhere
no.
around there, but
It's more than 5. Yeah.
no, but due to injuries, basically, they just don't have the players and illness.
Yeah, and so what they instead did is they were like, "Hey, we're
We
gonna
need-
hold tryouts on campus if anyone wants to try and join the basketball team, so we can play basketball."
Right, exactly. If you just want to ride pine for us, so that way we have the allocated
Yep.
players. Who knows?
Yeah.
Might be a fun developing story to see if any of those walk-ons actually get a shot on the field or anything,
Yeah.
or on the court.
Yeah. But
I mean,
I remember years ago, Rick Stansberry, when he took the job at WKU, had to basically fill his team with walk-ons. And they were okay. They weren't that good, but they were okay that year that it was like nothing but walk-ons.
I
They
mean,
played in Conference USA.
in a way, not exactly, but in a way, Louisville men's basketball has kind of had to do that this year with the level of walk-ons they've had to play and stuff. Yes
Yeah.
and no,
Yeah, Kenny Payne hasn't done him any favors, though.
but I'm just saying yes and no to that. But speaking of women's basketball, going from one team suffering, there's now greatness that has just been accomplished. And I'm not going to lie, very much so for me at least. I don't know if it's because I live on an Eastern time zone or if it's just, I don't know, you just got Gino Auriemma, greatness throughout the early 2000s and just UConn being great. But Tara Vanderveer basically is the all-time winningest coach in college basketball as of right now.
Men and women. Yep.
Yeah, and
She
for
just
those,
passed Coach K.
yeah, and for those of y'all who don't know, she is the head coach for the women's basketball team at Stanford,
Mm-hmm.
and she's won a couple of national championships.
3.
3.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, tremendous, great coach. I just think when it comes nothing to take away from her greatness or anything, it's just everyone else is kind of being in the shadow of recent bias of Dawn Staley and then Auriemma.
Don Staley, Auriemma, and then Pat Summitt.
Yeah.
It's like those are the 3 you bring up with women's basketball, and
More or less, yeah.
right now at least. Vanderveer just kind of flies under the radar a little bit, despite being a great coach for a long time.
Consistently great, basically since I've been around.
Yeah.
I don't know how long she's been at Stanford, 20-plus years of some
She's
sort.
been there so long.
But, yeah.
But
congratulations.
Yeah, good.
Absolutely. It's
Good
tip
for
your cap.
her.
It's owed where it's due. Yeah.
yeah, one of what is it, 20? There's 27 programs right now in women's basketball with 1,000+ wins,
Mm-hmm.
and virtually all of those wins for Stanford are hers.
Wow.
Yeah.
So just greatness.
Yeah, she's very good.
All right.
And then we've also got Caitlin Clark. I'm sure you might have seen this at this point.
Yeah.
Iowa got upset by Ohio State.
In overtime, right?
Yeah, in overtime on Sunday. And after the upset, the Ohio State fans stormed the court. While I was trying to leave the game, leave the, go to the locker rooms, and the fans were storming the court, a fan just ran into Caitlin Clark pretty violently. Not with violent intentions. It's just it was a bad collision.
Mm-hmm.
And then Caitlin Clark looked really hurt. She was in a lot of pain, it looked like.
Yeah.
Had to get walked off the court by her teammates and coaches. And then afterwards, it turns out she just got the wind knocked out of her.
Right.
But
Heavy collision. Just looks like the fan and her didn't see each other. One's running one way, one's running the other.
Yeah.
not looking at where they're going.
And then
Just collided on the court.
yeah, and the fan looked hurt too. It didn't look like she fell down like it.
It's not like someone threw out a shoulder or a bow and
That happens sometimes.
Oh,
That's the
no,
worst.
it happened
It happens a lot
in
in football.
No, it happened in basketball. It happened at the I forget which one stormed the court. It might have been the UCF Texas game. It
Was that at Central Florida? I thought that was at Texas.
no. It might have been a Memphis game, but someone like
Central Florida, Kansas, because they beat Kansas at Central.
it
Florida.
might have been, but I'm not sure. But there was one game where I'll have to look it up. But
Yeah. No.
there's a fan looking for intent, basically.
Yeah, that. I mean,
Which
when
is
that
so
happens,
messed up. Yeah.
It's like, what are you doing? Like, they play for a team that you don't cheer for. Like, don't go out there and like shoulder check them. Don't like punch them in the kidney as you run by. 'Cause
Celebrate.
That happens.
Well,
That's insane.
celebrate your team.
Yeah.
Basically, it's the way sports should be done. Just celebrate your team.
Yeah, and then revel in the losses of your rivals, but celebrate your team.
Right. Exactly.
So yeah, and then afterwards, Caitlin Clark was like, "Yeah, I mean, I was really scared. Like, I didn't know what was happening, but like, I just got the wind knocked out of me. So Caitlin Clark's fine, and then her coach like blew up on. She was like, "This is ridiculous. We need to protect players when they come off the court." I was like, "Yeah, but let them have fun."
I mean, I understand where she's coming from in the sense of that because it's Caitlin Clark, she's basically riding on the coattails of this great player right now.
Yep.
They genuinely have a shot to win the national championship because of her.
Yep.
You eliminate her from the equation, I don't think they're anywhere close.
Nope.
So, if she does end up getting hurt from that collision, there is something to be said about player safety going forward, just because of who she is and what she has become in the world of college basketball.
Yeah, I mean, yes, but like I was telling you before we start recording, like if that were like a backup power forward, she wouldn't say a thing about it. The coach would hurt.
I don't know. I think the coach would say something about it if a player gets hurt.
Yeah, but if they just get the
1000%.
wind knocked out of them,
Right. I mean,
on an unintentional collision, like it's kids are being kids. Let them have fun.
to be fair, regardless of intent, it's like you do want protocols in place for when stuff happens, players are safe.
Yeah.
And there usually is. Usually there's like a line of security with a rope or whatever to allow that bench to get to.
Yeah.
Usually, most times, 9 out of 10, whether it's
Maybe Ohio State didn't think they had a shot. Maybe they're like, well, keep the velvet rope in the thing. Who cares? We're not gonna win. Keep it in the closet. I don't care.
All right.
So, yeah,
We'll see.
I don't know, it's whatever.
It is what it is.
I don't even want to talk about NCAA investigating Florida.
I don't
Jalen
know anything
Rashada.
about this.
It's basically NCAA is opening up an investigation into Florida for the Jalen Rashada NIL debacle.
Oh, this is where they promised him a certain amount of money.
Like
he never got it, so he went to Arizona
16 million,
State.
yeah.
16?
They promised like 16 million, and then
Jeez.
when he got there, they were like, "Yeah, we don't have it." And he was like, "Well, okay, I'm not going to play here,
Right.
Because you lied to me." Florida, and Florida State, it seems are kind of notorious for this a little bit. It's so far in the early goings, it seems like they've definitely lied to players to get them to come.
Yeah.
And then they just pull the rug out of them. I'm like, actually, we've got like 600,000 if that's okay.
And then it's like, no, I'm transferring because you lied to me.
Yeah, he didn't even transfer. He just got out of his letter of intent.
Right.
Because after he signed, they were like, yeah, we don't have the money.
Yeah, which is messed up.
And so they're
Nothing-
going after Charlie Baker. As much as I hate him, he's making a concerted effort to try and crack down on NIL because Florida State just got some violations for NIL.
I mean, it does suck for the player, but I mean, like, what do you expect from a kid when you just lie to him when you're trying to build a relationship as a true freshman?
Yeah,
Like, do you expect them to be like, oh, no, it's fine. I'll just take significantly less than what I was promised.
I'll take the
And I'll go
not
play.
life altering money.
Right.
Like, because 16 million,
that's
life altering.
sure is.
600,000 is a lot of money.
It
It's not
sure
life
is.
altering. Actually, I mean it is.
I
It's
mean-
not. It's not as life altering. It's not like completely change the trajectory of your financial well being.
No, you're going from, hey, we got this money. Actually, we're just going to offer you 5% of it.
Yeah. So, good. Investigate Florida. In my mind, honestly, punish them to death. I don't
Also,
care.
there's a conversation to be had about, like, will there be a reputation started with these schools, and it'll damper their recruiting where kids are like, I'm not even going to listen to you because you have not backed up any of the promises of prior recruits.
Yeah.
And then also something to be said about where, like, there are, I know at least in Kentucky, there are laws to protect players from this happening.
There are in some states, yeah.
Right. So it's like, do recruits look at something along those lines? I know Missouri's got laws on the books now to where if you're a kid that goes to a Missouri high school and you stay within state, you have bigger incentives to attend, like Missouri.
Yeah, your senior year, you can start getting NIL.
Right, exactly. So I don't know if we'll see how states are trying to help protect players as well as the universities to try and get recruits better, but
yeah, it's interesting.
yeah,
I am very interested to see how that unfolds because
I mean,
it doesn't seem like it's affected schools so far.
well, it's also just early going. It's like NIL, especially in Florida, it seems like the wild, wild west. It's like no one knows exactly what they're getting and no one knows exactly what they're worth. It's just, hey, we're going to throw out these ballpark numbers that are heavily inflated.
Absolutely, that's
just to say that this is happening.
And Miami's kind of run into that too a little bit because at first Miami was like offering these crazy amounts of money, and I think they were inflated. But at the same time, I do think that there's some truth to these numbers that come out. Not it like.
Is it like the contract where it's like a contract is worth up to this?
No, what I think it is I think every number that came out publicly for NIL was wrong.
Tragically inflated.
I think they were all inflated, but that still doesn't mean like if they're all inflated, if like a recruit is getting offered, in the public eye, that is, $1 million to play at Indiana versus $4 million to get played to play at Miami. He's probably still getting offered way more money to go at Miami, to go play at Miami, and so Miami was doing that. They were paying a lot of money for people to come to play there,
right?
And it got to the point where they were having trouble recruiting after the first NIL cycle because players were going there and they're like, I want $12 million. And it's like, we don't have that. You're a D lineman. Like, you're not getting that money. And so they were having trouble recruiting at first. And then they kind of had to make like a sort of like half statement, their biggest NIL donor. And he's like, hey, I'm not giving that money. Like that players are not getting like that stupid money that you think
is
they
being
are.
reported, right? Also, I just think like because it's so new and so fresh, there hasn't really been a market set for anything. It's like, I mean, we're starting to get to the point to where like you have Matt Rule come out and say, you want a good quarterback? It's $1 to $2 mil.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is a realistic number and something that is realistic right now at this current moment in time.
Yeah, not like
where it's like Nick Lamalela of Tennessee is like reported $9 million.
Lamaleava, I believe.
Yeah.
No, I think it's Yamaleava.
Anyway.
Just saying.
You know how I am with names and words.
I'm aware, especially with Hawaiian.
I'm going to butcher the crap out of everyone's name if I've never heard it said before.
Well, especially Hawaiian. There's only like 14 letters, so they have to be like super long names.
No, it's not even. It's if I have never heard a name before, I'm going to butcher it until someone says it, and even if that is wrong, but I've heard someone say it. Oh yeah, that's got to be how they say it. So I'm just going to go off of this.
I get it.
But anyway, it's like. There's going to be a market eventually set for all this stuff, but until that happens, it's like, because it's just the Wild West. No one knows what anything's exactly worth just yet.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. People are figuring it out on the fly. So,
and we'll see in the next 5 years.
I mean, we're gonna see the next 5 years, the next 10 years. Like the next 5 years are gonna look different than the next 10, the next 15 years.
No, I truly believe like offers are going to be way more consistent because people are going to figure out what everybody's worth. And it's like, okay, this is a 4-star, middle of the road.
Yeah.
50 ranked player. He's going to get $500K.
Yeah, and you would hear these like stupid stories of like, oh man, this quarterback who's a sophomore in high school just got offered $6 million to play quarterback at Oklahoma State, and it's like Oklahoma State's not offering a sophomore in high school like $6 million to play football for him. Like that's not real. And so,
what is real was that moment.
I don't think we're ever gonna. Is that Matthew McConaughey?
Huh?
What did you just say?
I said, what was real is that mullet, Mike Gundy.
Oh, I thought you quoted Matthew McConaughey just now.
All right.
Yeah. Anyway, we're gonna move on from there. Before we get to our pick'ems, we're gonna quickly visit the Northeast Conference in women's college basketball. I think that segment got cut out from last week's episode.
Yeah, it did.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
That was like the best part of the episode.
I was enjoying it, so yeah.
This guy was dying over, XL twin beds over here, but
Oh.
you're laughing now. Jesus Christ, man. All I said was twin beds. Start laughing again. They don't even get it. They don't even get it.
I'll see if I can't get an audio only episode.
We'll talk about that afterwards, but I don't think that's the way to go.
This is a running gag.
All right,
it's so great.
we're picking who we think is going to win the conference of Northeastern women's basketball because it's so bad.
By the way,
it's such a bad conference.
Little caveat: the men's isn't that much better either.
I couldn't imagine.
It is.
I've never even heard of the Northeastern Conference.
It is one of the worst too. I mean, you only have 3 teams in the men's that are above 500 or even with 500.
Yeah. In women, you've only got one, and it's your team right now.
Shout them out.
Sacred Heart.
Sacred Heart, baby.
Yeah.
They're not getting out of the round of. They're not getting out.
They're not getting out of the round of 64.
The round of 68. They're going to be in the playing game.
Do you think so?
Even
no,
as
you're
I'm
probably
like,
right.
they're not even gonna get to play South Carolina.
No, you're probably right. I think you're actually right with that, yeah.
They're gonna be those teams that play in the 16th.
Yeah, my team, Central Connecticut State, had a terrible week.
I'm
Terrible.
sorry to hear that
They
for
were
you.
0-3 last week. They're now 14. They're now 4-14 on the year. It's fine. It's fine.
Hey, they like sleeping in their own bed. Still a positive win. Here's the problem for them is that maybe they just don't have a good gym. They played 7 games at home.
Well, the problem is that they lost to Stonehill, who was previously winless in the conference.
And it
man.
was no, but here's the issue, is that it was at Stonehill. Bring it to CCSU's home gym, and they got it down.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Bring them up there in I don't know, Hartford, wherever it is.
Yeah,
I don't know anything about these schools.
all we know is that we see the numbers change every week, and we update ourselves on it.
And we imagine that there was probably a game that correlated with those numbers.
Oh well, it had to have. I mean, deductive reasoning will tell us if CCSU hasn't won a road game and neither has Stonehill, it had to be at Stonehill.
Maybe. So okay. So here's the thing.
We gotta watch one of these games live together.
Absolutely, that's an OSHA violation. Absolutely not. Are you kidding me?
Come on. I don't even know how you would find this game.
It's on like Bally Sports. No way.
And they're bankrupt, so we'll see how that is.
Exactly. It's probably playing on MTV.
No, that's gonna be one of those jank like streams where you have to pull it. I don't even know how you watch.
It probably plays on 1-2-3 movies.
Oh,
I bet that's where you watch all their games.
Oh, I remember those days.
I never use it. I'm a moral citizen.
Well, excuse you.
So,
oh, look at me! I don't pirate movies.
I'm not a pirate. I'm a good Englishman. So here's where our different definitions of winning the conference came in. When I said who do you think's going to win the conference, I was thinking of the tournament, which is why I was far more willing to pick Central Connecticut State, because anything could happen in this tournament. Who freaking knows?
Right, exactly.
I would love a team that's 10 games below 500 to play in the round of the field of 68.
Oh.
And so you of course picked the boring pick, Sacred Heart.
Oh, I'm sorry. I did deductive reasoning and logic here.
I don't think you know what deductive reasoning means.
I did do deductive reasoning. I don't know what you're talking about.
All right. So yeah, your team is the only one sitting at above 500 right now. The only one at 500
overall.
or above. Yeah.
Hey.
There's what, 4 teams in the conference that are above 500.
Man. Is this, I mean, I don't know. Golly, it's like.
It's a terrible conference.
I mean, look at the men's.
I don't even know. The only reason I know where Central Connecticut State is because it's in the name. It's in Connecticut. I don't know where any of these other schools are.
Oh, you don't know where Fairleigh Dickinson is?
No, I actually never learned. Is that New Jersey?
I was genuine asking. I'm with you. If let me tell you this, I know where St. Francis is.
Where is St. Francis? Pennsylvania.
Because it's got
It's-
PA.
I've just never read that. It's in Pennsylvania. It's probably in Philly, if I had to guess. Maybe just outside of Philly.
Let's see, where's Sacred Heart College or University?
I don't know, man. Do you really think I have any clue into this? No, I don't know anything. Before we started doing this, I thought Sacred Heart was just a high school.
Fairfield, Connecticut.
Fairfield. Okay, it's in a little in-state rivalry here.
Yeah,
Okay,
is that where CCU is?
of course it's in Connecticut. I don't know what city it's in. But what do we got? What do we got? Central Connecticut University.
In New Britain, Connecticut.
New Britain.
So,
All right. We got a little Connecticut rivalry going on. Yeah, this is the worst conference I think of all time. Maybe it's so fun. It's so fun, and I'm afraid that Sacred Heart's just gonna run away with it.
It's a nice little hour drive.
It's an hour.
Apparently.
Connecticut's that big?
Yeah.
There's no way.
It's 56 miles away from each other.
All right.
So you got New Britain just outside of Hartford, and Fairfield's down on the coast. You have to go past New Haven.
Okay, so Fairfield is much closer to New York.
Yeah. Then you got
That's in that tri-state area. Right?
Yeah, and then, I mean, yeah.
All right. Well,
We did some geography today while we're at it.
We
Looking
sure
at the
did.
Northeast.
we sure did.
All
All right. While we're at it, we're gonna wrap this thing up. We're gonna do our pick'ems for the week.
Ooh, I did a cheat sheet for this
Oh,
one.
all right. All right.
I actually did.
Have
my
we
picks.
been keeping track of?
No, not basketball. I didn't set it up. Sorry, apologies.
It's fine. I mean, maybe we can go back and figure it out. See what the fans have done. The fans so far, you guys suck at football. You've done pretty good in basketball.
Have they?
I
haven't
think
kept
so.
track.
I think so. They've done pretty good in basketball.
All right, we're firing off the hip. I can't find it.
All right, here we go. First game: Houston at BYU. Give me Houston.
It's Houston. Sorry, I'm still on the Houston train. I think they're one of the best teams in the
You falling off
college
the BYU train a little bit?
Oh, 1,000%. BYU's like 4th or 5th now in the
It's funny. You
Big
had them ranked
Two.
3rd in the country at one point. in
I
your poll.
did, and let me tell
You
you.
also have Auburn ranked number 1. I don't know. I haven't seen your most recent poll.
Oh,
I don't know
I'll
if you
show.
dropped them.
I've actually updated it here. I'll show you it.
We'll do that afterwards.
No, take
All right. Well,
a gander. Live reaction to the top 25 now.
where did Auburn go? Okay, Auburn dropped to like 5th or something.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, 4.
4th. You were highly reactionary. I'm not gonna lie.
I am.
All right. Well, anyway, we're both picking Houston there. This is an interesting game. Auburn at Alabama. Before this weekend, they were the only two undefeateds remaining in SEC play. Now Auburn is the only one remaining undefeated. I'm gonna go with Alabama.
It's not a bad pick, but
Kind of afraid to, but I'm gonna pick them.
no. Alabama hasn't won any meaningful game.
Yeah.
I feel like so until they can do that, they just lost by 20 to Tennessee,
Mm-hmm.
and
Rocky Top.
Auburn hasn't been tested by anyone yet.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna lean towards Auburn, even though I think I might have had Alabama, but I can't find it.
It's fine. Next up, we've got Illinois at Northwestern. Northwestern coming off of a loss. Illinois has kind of quietly, won every game last week. I'm going to pick Illinois.
I'm with you there.
I
Illinois.
like Northwestern. I think they're a tournament team. I like Northwestern, but I'm picking Illinois in this
I
one.
think they'll be bubble, but yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever.
All
I'm
right.
gonna get rid of this paper noise.
Next up, we have Seton Hall at Marquette. I'm going to pick Marquette in this
I'm
one.
with you. It's Marquette.
It's at Marquette. I like Seton Hall. They are
They're-
further ahead in their rebuild than I thought they would be.
They're also like top of the Big East, like close.
They're
They're
up
like
there, yeah.
second. Yeah.
They
They are. They're second, just behind UConn. They're
Mm-hmm.
6-2. Marquette's 4-3.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of teams in that like hovering around 500 range right now in the Big East.
As far as like conference
Yeah.
goes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, just straight up like Villanova's 11-7, Xavier's 10-8. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You also got St. John's and Providence, 12-7, 12-6.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
Marquette.
All right. Kansas at Iowa State.
Mm-hmm.
Who you got in this one?
Iowa State.
I had a feeling. You don't like Kansas this year.
It's not that I don't like them. I think they're overrated right now. I think they are a top 15 team. I'm not with everyone that has them top 10, top 5.
I've got them top 10.
And I think Iowa State, because it's at Iowa, let me put it this way. If it was at Kansas, I'm picking Kansas. It's at Iowa State. I think these two teams are a lot closer than what people think.
Yeah. I mean, it's a tough place to play. I have Kansas. I agree with you that I don't think that they're poised to make a tournament run. They've had so many games where they'll get down by
Kansas?
Kansas.
Kansas could be a Sweet 16 team.
Sweet 16, but I don't think they're...
I think they could get out of the first weekend.
No, they could. They could. I don't think they're poised for a great tournament run.
It's also just like the Big 12 is so good this year.
It's very good.
I think I want it to be like 11 teams can make it, but I really realistically think it's going to be like 10 with like West Virginia sucks, even though they just like West Virginia, they just beat Kansas. They're the worst team in the Big 12.
They have talent, though. They had a good transfer class. They have talent.
I know, but it's like them.
they just don't have a coach.
UCF sucks. Oklahoma State.
Yeah, Oklahoma State's not good this year.
I mean, but like other than that,
Yeah.
I mean, like maybe UCF makes it, but I doubt it. But like everyone else is a tournament team.
All right. Well, next up, we've got the Pac-12. Dayton at... Nope, I skipped one. Arizona
Well, you
at
did
Oregon.
say it right. Arizona is the best team in that conference. I don't see how they're I don't see how they couldn't win out. Basically, they might stumble and fall here, but I mean, like have some scares like UCLA for some reason. But I mean, like, give me Arizona.
Oh, I did skip one. You're right. I'll get back to it.
It's all right. It's all real. But you said Pac-12, but we're riding with it.
I'm gonna pick Oregon in this one. Just they're coming off a bad week. They lost, 2 games last week. They lost bad at Colorado.
Ooh.
But
Who? Oregon?
Oregon did, yeah.
And Arizona blew out Oregon like almost by 50.
It was at Arizona though.
But they were also without like KJ Simpson.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Make
Dana
do.
Altman's still a good coach. I don't think they're a bubble team right now. Oregon is, especially with the 2 losses. They're probably on the outside looking in. But I don't know. I'm gonna pick them to get a win to maybe push them into that field. All right. Now the one that I skipped, not Dayton, but TCU at Baylor. I'm gonna pick Baylor.
I'm with you. Baylor's good.
I like TCU as well. Baylor is coming off another bad week. I think at home, I think they're gonna get right a little bit.
In my personal opinion, Baylor's like the 3rd best team in the Big 12 behind Houston and Kansas. If that gives you any idea, I think Kansas is like the 2nd best team in the Big 12.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you there, honestly.
Right?
That's solid, but
And then give me Baylor. It's in Waco.
TCU also lost two times last week.
Yeah, they
Between
lost.
these 2 teams, there's 4 losses last week.
The Iowa State TCU game was a good game though.
Oh yeah, Iowa State. Was it TCU? No, yeah, TCU almost came back.
Yeah.
That's a good game. All right, finally we're getting to it. Dayton at Richmond.
It's for sole possession of the A-10 right now.
Yeah.
I'm going with Dayton. I could see where Richmond wins this game, but also I've kind of like bet Dayton to win the A-10, so I kind of have to ride it out.
Yeah. I'm going to pick Richmond.
It's a fun pick.
Yeah. I just think that Dayton's probably the best team in the conference, but like it's at Richmond.
It is at Richmond.
Richmond's not like a pushover this year.
No, they are easily the 2nd best team in the A-10.
Yeah.
Or not the best team. This could be. It's really show it. Yeah.
So, all right. Next up, we got Mountain West Nevada at New Mexico. I'm picking Richard Pitino and New Mexico, the Lobos.
They run. They run.
That's what Pitino teams do.
They
go fast on offense. They press you on defense.
Yeah, they sure do. And give me New Mexico. They're a fun team to watch this year. The only games that they really are losing is like where they can't control the tempo, and it's like teams that really slow down the pace.
That's. I mean, throughout Patino's career, that's kind of been how you beat him.
I mean, yeah,
Just slow it down, because it's way easier to slow it down a game than it is to speed it up.
no, like straight up. Let me find this. It's like the teams that they have lost to is St. Mary's, Colorado State, and UNLV. All teams who are historically tempo-wise. So like who would I say?
So the slowest, St. Mary's, Colorado.
Yeah, Colorado State, 252, very slow. And then who was the other one?
UNLV,
UNLV.
St. Mary's.
UNLV, 300, was very slow. St. Mary's,
That's how
historically
you
slow
beat him.
team.
That's how you beat him. That is how you beat him. But I don't think Nevada wants to play that way. I think Richard Pitino's a good coach, so I think they're gonna win this one.
Oh yeah,
All right.
St. Mary's tempo, one dead last, like 356, and yeah.
All right. Next up, we've got Texas Tech at Oklahoma.
Ooh, that's a fun one.
Yeah.
Hmm?
I'm gonna go with Texas Tech in this one.
Give me Oklahoma just for variety.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's an even matchup.
Very much.
But it's gonna be fun. A little Big 12 shootout for now, at least, while Oklahoma's still there. Next up, we're going back to the Mountain West. We've got Utah State versus Boise State.
This is for first place.
Is it for first place? Really?
Yeah, one's 5-1. Utah State and Boise State's 4-1.
That's kind of crazy.
I know, right?
All right, well, I'm gonna take Boise State.
Give me Utah State.
I think Boise State at home is pretty solid.
I think I had Boise State, but give me Utah State. Variety.
All right, well, then we got Clemson at Duke.
What happened to Clemson? Clemson was like supposed to be. It looked like they were going to be like the third best team in the ACC, and they've just kind of like just fallen.
Yeah,
I don't
they've
know.
done terrible.
Yeah. Obviously, give me Duke, but like, what has happened to Clemson? Like, Clemson is 3-4. Maybe not even a tournament team all of a sudden.
Yeah,
I mean,
we'll see. He is Brad Barnell, I think is his name.
Yeah.
That he was already on the hot seat entering the year. This is not a good
Really?
look for him. Yeah, I'm gonna take Duke. It's at Duke at Cameron.
How many teams make the tournament out of the ACC?
Not like
Obviously,
4.
Duke, North Carolina. Who else are you taking?
Wake.
Miami?
No, not right now. They've got too many bad losses.
They suck.
They lost to
They were-
Louisville and Florida State.
Remember when they were like ranked 8th in the nation at one point?
Yeah.
And then they got slaughtered by Kentucky?
Yeah.
I
I don't know. Maybe Virginia makes it.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, final pick. We've got Houston at Texas. This is going to be a fun battle. Battle between two teams
Another
in the,
team.
in the Lone Star State.
I think I've already said this, but yeah. Texas fallen off too from what we thought they were.
Oh, I from the beginning of the year, I did not think they were good.
Really? I
Yeah.
thought with like
They
Max.
are 3 missed shots away from being like 10-7 right now.
What are
Literally
they?
3 missed shots.
What are they?
Game winner against Louisville, game winner against Cincinnati,
Oh
game
my
winner against
God.
Baylor.
I forgot we played them competitively in New York.
That to me, I was already not super high on Texas after that first week.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, after that first week, I was like, oh, I don't
Yeah,
know if
you're
Texas
playing-
is that good.
You're
And then
playing
they
Louisville competitively?
barely
Yeah.
beat Louisville, and I was like, oh no, Texas sucks. That's
Yo, they won. Yeah, 81-80. Yo, what?
on a buzzer beater.
Yeah. And they've lost to UCF.
Give me Houston.
They lost to West Virginia, too.
Mm-hmm. I mean, West Virginia's got the talent. They just don't have a
Dude, they
coach.
got a slaughter of a week. We even included, but they play Oklahoma, BYU, and Houston all within a week.
Really? They
Yeah.
have 3 games?
Well, they play Tuesday to Monday.
Oh,
We're picking this game because it's on a Monday.
All right,
and the
yeah.
episode doesn't come up till
okay.
Tuesday.
I didn't see. Well, yeah, sure.
But it's like, yo,
No, I don't. I'm not a believer in Texas. I
dude,
don't think they're going to make the tournament.
They play Oklahoma away, BYU away. Then they have to come home to Houston.
So my guess is you're picking the Longhorns.
No. Give me Houston.
Yeah. All right. That's our episode, everybody. We will see you next week.
Absolutely.
Unless you never watch again.
Yeah.
All right. Goodbye.
Bye.